What is up, guys? So we know what we're here for. We're going over today's trade. We took, I believe they were 625s. We took QQQ 625 1-7 calls this morning. We're gonna go over that trade. We made about 50% on that. Could have been a lot more, but we're not gonna talk about it. Actually, we will talk about it. I will go over that, but let's get into this. All right. So market opens here. We have market open. We get a strong upside move here on NQ towards or at market open. Same thing with ES. Not as strong of a move on ES. We got a bigger retracement on ES than we did on NQ, and then vice versa. NQ had a bigger move to the upside. All right, so now moving on with that, we had a lot of chop around this area. We were waiting on news to drop at 10 a.m. We had what do we have? We had PMI and job openings, and then at 8:30 before 10 a.m. we had non-farm employment change. So I got a light in front of the other screen so I couldn't see it. Yeah, so we're waiting on this news here, and then if we drop we are in the 5-minute, you can see we got this big red wick candle down, right? And that is the initial reaction to news. Here we are at 10 a.m. on ES now. Same thing, big, strong move down off of the initial data from that news. Now if we drop to the 1-minute, which is what I was watching, all right, so 1-minute, you can see hard rejection off this high. We create a high a day up here, and then first thing I noticed, I'm looking, my draws on liquidity for the day, where it was this 15-minute high up here. All right, was this 15-minute high coming into the day. I wanted to see this get taken out. I was very confident that we would come up and push into this level today. We also have 4-hour highs that we didn't quite tap into yet. I'm expecting, or I was telling you guys in the Discord today, that if we didn't wind up tapping into these levels today, we were more than likely going to see it either end a week or into next week. In my opinion, we'll probably wind up seeing those this week. But yeah, let's go back. Whoops. Let me go back down to the 1 here. Okay. All right, so going back to what I was saying, first thing I noticed being on the 1-minute, I'm looking for a reversal, right? I'm looking to play the reversal move off this initial reaction to the news. First thing I see here, we do find a bottom here on NQ, and we create this high here, right? Any candle that makes a low and a high, that's considered, a high or a low to get taken out. So we have this 1-minute high get made. Next candle we reject, push back down, and then we get a fat green candle here on the 1-minute to push us back above. We get a shift in market structure right here, back above this green candle high that was made, right? Price rips through there. And we continue to push to the upside here, kind of consolidate, and then what do? We form a gap on this candle here, which is what we actually took the entry on for these calls. And I'm going to go over where I could have gotten a better entry, and I'm going to explain why. And you guys will hear me talk about this all the time. I kind of went against my rule a little bit, or my entry model a tiny bit here. So usually when I'm explaining to you guys are, like I just said, you'll hear me talk about this. When you want price to come back into an imbalance or fair value gap like this, whatever you want to call it, you want to look for key fair value gaps, right? You want to look for a fair value gap in a zone that either, there's a market structure shift happened, or we got a break of structure, something like that. And I should have waited for this gap right here. This fair value gap that we formed within this candle should have been entry, because we got that initial break of this high, shift in market structure, right? So this was really the sniper entry. This is where entry should have been at. I did jump the gun a little bit here and wound up taking out of this fair value gap instead, which was okay because it did wind up playing out. We were kind of close to getting stopped at this low. We would have gotten stopped out. But like I said, if we had just waited for price to come back into this area here, you could see we would have gotten a way better entry on that. That kind of looks like a cock. All right, so now back on track. Entry was right here, right? We got our entry off this most recent fair value gap, and we did wind up hitting 20% up here. I took my first trim there at 20%, just like I always do. I always take my first scale at 20%. And then we did see the market pull back again towards this low. We didn't quite wind up sweeping that, which is why I stayed in. I'll show you another few reasons why I had actually stayed in. So initially, as soon as I saw that we inversed this previous fair value gap, I was like, all right, probably gonna have to cut these. More than likely, we're gonna head lower. We did form a gap here, right? And then I still was kind of waiting for this low to see if we would take out this low and reverse. And we wound up pushing back through, inversed this previous bearish fair value gap, right? Which is another indicator to me that we're more than likely going to head back up to the upside. Once again, we broke structure back up, got another shift in market structure here on this candle. Inverse this fair value gap, so it gave me that confidence to stay in this position. And we wound up being able to ride these up to that 15-minute high up here. Where was over here, right? Able to ride these up to that 15-minute high. We actually got we were able to trim a little bit above that 15-minute high. And that's where I had set the rest of my contracts to break even, which kind of sucks because unfortunately, look at this. So as soon as we do tap into that, boom. I don't even know what this candle was from. It was just like a flash crash type candle. All the way back down. Instantly knocked out those remaining contracts that I had set back at break even. I was out of 90% of the position at that time. I only had 10% left, which was not a big deal getting stopped out. But, I mean, we could have taken a re-entry right here off this 5-minute, but at that point I wasn't really looking to re-enter anything. You know, we could have taken another entry right off of here, break out of this resistance, boom, retrace back into a imbalance, and then we just literally ripped from there out. Missed out on like 250-300%. Shit happens. It is what it is, but we were still able to walk away with 50%. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this trade recap. Live every single morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time in my Discord. You click the link in the description, first link in the description. I do this for free live trading every single morning, 9:30 EST. We're banking every day this year. And yeah, let's get this shit, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.